Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 1084. I had to go run. I said I found some Panini Americana for name that player today, and I left the stack in my card room. What's going on? Happy Friday. Welcome to the weekend. Can't believe it's already here. Can't believe we are approaching another weekend. Next Saturday is the Madison Card Show. Tables are sold out. 135 tables. I think my waiting list is 10 deep, at least 10 deep. So it's going to be another great show. January is typically the best show of the year in terms of crowd and money exchanging hands. A lot of people say, what? January after Christmas? I was shocked at December 30th, right after Christmas. We had a buyer fly in from Boston on December 30th and spent $60,000 at the Madison Card Show. So money was exchanging hands, and look to see some more of that next Saturday. Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive. I will be set up. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll have anything new in my bargain boxes. So if you saw them, if you saw my bargain boxes last month, unfortunately, you'll see the same stuff unless if I bring other boxes, it'll be just recycled stuff. So if you look through all of my boxes last month, you will not see anything new. I just haven't had time to put anything together. I haven't bought anything. Actually, I haven't bought anything since before Christmas, and I missed on that pallet. Or did I buy that pallet? Did I buy that pallet before or after Christmas? I can't remember. But I missed the most recent pallet. So the Madison Card Show next Saturday, getting a lot of traction. A lot of vendors have been reaching out. Hey, can I get some tables? I said, no, I'm sorry. We're sold out. I have availability for February. So February 24th is the show after next weekend. I'm looking forward. I haven't done a show this month. The last Madison show was the last show I did. So I'm looking forward to getting back into setting up, which I will next Saturday. And then I'll be in Janesville for their February show. And I think I'm going to miss the Rockford show in March because I'll be at spring training. Or will I? March 12th through the 20th. I think I'm either missing the Rockford show or the Spectacular, which I wasn't planning on going to the Chicago Spectacular anyway in March. It was nice to go in November, but it just wasn't worth my time. It was in November because I had another event Saturday night and I just wanted to go. It wasn't about buying cards or anything. I mean, ideally, that was the point. But I wasn't as disappointed because I just wanted to get out and check things out and see if I wanted to come back in March. If there was a lot of stuff to buy, if it was a great show, I probably would have planned on coming back in March. But if it didn't coincide with my spring training trip. So it's Friday. We're going to play Name That Player. We're once again going to do all over the board. I've got some football. I've got some baseball. I've got some pop culture. So we're going to do a little bit of everything today. What else is going on? Yesterday I talked about having to collect P from Biscuit. I'm 0 for 1. It was a failure. Now, not only do the vet really throw some curveballs at you, because not only do you have to try to collect urine from a little 10-pound dog at -4 degrees in the snow, which, hey, at least you know where it's going. It turns the snow yellow. But also, it's got to be first thing in the morning before she eats or drinks anything. It's like a fasting sample or whatever you call that. I'm like, oh. So I completely missed the pee. So, however, I learned where the pee's like coming from and going. So I just have to move the cup a little because I tried to bend down. I'm gonna throw my back out trying to collect dog pee in the morning with an applesauce container. So I was too far up because she's a lady dog. I think the male dogs pee the other way because they have a penis. So who had that on your Hobby Evolution bingo board? Dog penis. So I've got to go back with the cup. So we'll try it again today. The vet did say you can bring her in. My wife's like, I can collect it. My wife has little faith in my dog pee catching ability. So that was yesterday morning. What else happened yesterday? I shipped. I listed. I went to the post office. Went to the liquor store. My buddy Brian came over last night. Offbeat All Stars. You may know him on Twitter. He's here local. So he came over and we didn't have, sometimes we just do Ripapaloozas, Rip Fests. But we didn't do that. He had a box of, we did. He had a box of a blaster of archives. I had one of my Topps Chrome NPB boxes. I'm down to 2 now. But I'm glad I opened the one I did. Who knows what's lurking in the next 2 boxes? But I pulled one of the best cards you can pull. I need to get it in a penny sleeve. Roki Sasaki, and it's a purple, numbered out of 299. You're like, who? So Roki, if you're not familiar with Japanese baseball, Roki Sasaki is arguably the best Japanese player in some time. Well, since Ohtani, I guess. I don't think he's better than Ohtani. But Roki Sasaki will be the best player posted here in the next couple of years. I don't think he's ready to post until 2026. I think it's still a couple more years. But he's better than Yamamoto, who was everybody's goo gaga over Jordan, or not Jordan, Yoshi Yamamoto. Jordan plays Mets, Marlins somewhere. So Roki Sasaki, that base card that I just showed you, the base card sells for like 15 alone. So I'm thinking that purple settles, and it's kind of hard to gauge right now and where his market goes. It could peak in 2 years, but I'm going to likely sell sooner than later. I'm not going to hold. I'm not going to sit on anything. But I'm thinking 75 to 100. There's nothing out there. I'll probably start it at 100, buy it now in my eBay store, and then just field offers. And I won't take anything. I shouldn't be saying this. I won't take anything less than 75, but it depends. Somebody might buy it outright for 100. It's hard. I don't think any have sold. I think there's a blue for auction right now with like $150 starting bid, and it probably will sell. Probably just for the opening bid. So I'm going to kind of gauge where that goes. And it's January 19th. I'm in no rush now. I'm going to sell it sooner than later, but 2 months, not 2 years, right? So that's where I'm going. So something great about having Brian over last night. He has a couple one unique collection. He collects cards with beer signs in the background. He's got a pretty cool collection. And we actually found out, I'm like, do you know if he doesn't know anything about Japanese baseball. He's like, do you know if there's Japanese beer ads in stadiums? Because I don't know that. And I know their culture a little more conservative than America. So maybe like here, we don't do cigarettes on billboards. Maybe they don't do alcohol on billboards. I don't know. I didn't know. So we looked it up, and sure enough, I went through the cards because I know some Japanese brands. And one of them, I didn't know the brand, but it looked like this might be. There are actually 2. One I thought might be Sapporo. Ended up not being Sapporo, but the other one started with a Y. So Brian did some Google searching, and he's like, yes. So he has his first Japanese beer card, beer in the background. But also, so we were going through boxes, and he's also collects Gypsy Queen. And I have a bunch of Gypsy Queen commons. I just don't know where they're at. And I did come across them since the last time he came. The last time he came, I couldn't find them. And then I discovered them, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to set these aside for Brian. And I didn't. I just put them back among the boxes. So we're going through boxes. I found boxes that I'm like, holy crap. Like early hair, like 2005, 2004, 2003 Topps Heritage, that those move really well. Some old Ginter. So some of that I can list, like, I mean, there's stacks of them, so I can list them really fast using Car Dealer Pro. And they'll also, you know, they're commons, but some will sit for a long time, but eventually somebody comes by and buys like 10 of them. So it makes it worth it. But then there was a couple boxes that I never apparently went through, because I've got a customer that he has prices for cards he buys of like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Ronald Acuna, Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes. So whenever I'm going through putting quarter boxes together, dollar boxes, eBay, anytime I find those players that he's buying, I set them aside for him. Well, one box I pulled out an Aaron Judge, and I'm like, oh, I go a little further. Oh, in Ohtani. I apparently haven't been through this box. I found a couple Jordan Love rookies, a couple Justin Fields rookies, you know, nothing big, but a lot of like sellable inventory. So he also found, or he found, one of us found a box with a bunch of Gypsy Queen. So brought that in, and I sit down. So I sit down, true confessions, true hobby card, baseball card confessions. I'm an adult. I'm 41. And I still sort cards on the floor. Crisscross applesauce, baby. And so Brian goes, I sit down. I've got the box with the Judge and the Ohtanis, and I sit down. I go crisscross. He goes, Brian looks at me and he goes, is that how you sort cards? Crisscross applesauce? I'm like, yeah. You're like, just like a kid? I'm like, yeah, nothing's changed. Sometimes I'll put Boy Meets World on the TV and it's like I'm 12 years old again. So that's my hobby, true confession. So I've actually been sorting 2022 Bowman Draft. I've got so much of that, 12 cases, in fact. Might even be more than that, because it's 12 4-row boxes. So I'm getting those together. Sal Stewart, by the way, yesterday I talked about there's one other guy that's been selling that I didn't pull. So I've got like 200 of him. Sal Stewart was the guy. So I've been sorting those in here. Eventually I want to get those listed. And I don't think I'm going to do lots. I think I'm just going to put like 200 quantity listings. So Sal Stewart first Bowman, that one I might list for $1.50, $2 maybe, probably $2, because I think he'll sell for $2. And then the other stuff, 99 cents. I've listed a ton of 99-cent free shipping this week, probably like 600. I'll say it again for those in the back. How do you make money on 99-cent free shipping? Well, if somebody comes in and buys this Ivan Rodriguez for 99 cents free shipping, I lose money. But that's not the point. Well, why do it? You got to think bigger picture. And I think we went through yesterday, and there's like 4 transactions, 2 of them. So 50% of the transactions I lost money on. And it's like, well, why do it? Well, I lost 15 cents on 2 of the transactions. One transaction was 30 cards. Okay. And they got the discount. So 30 cards, $30, 25% off. What's 30? What's 25% off? $750. Is that correct? So $22.50 on a bunch of basically commons. Like you find most of these in dime boxes. Minus the shipping, that's going to go $4 bubble mailer. So you're looking at $18, $18, and that's basically profit. 17. Say I spent 50, I didn't, but say I did spend 50 cents on the card. $17.50 profit minus the 30 cents on the 2 transactions that were my loss leaders. You're down to a little over $17. And then I think the 4th transaction was 3 cards for $3. And that's basically what, $1.50? Probably $1.75 profit. So, because that'll go 63 cents, I'll only have to use one card saver. So that's why. That's why. It's like, well, 50% of your transit. Well, the 50% are like big orders. Somebody comes in, buys 120, 40, 30, 20. It's all about the math. And that's why I do it. So what else is going on? So that's all I did. I ordered Jets Pizza. We got to get to the chat. We're 16 minutes in. Ordered some Jets Pizza, Detroit style sausage. First world problem though. It's annoying that with Jets Pizza, you have to build your own just for sausage pizza. You can't just click sausage pizza. You have to build your own and put sausage on there. I know. First world problem. That's my only beef. That's my only beef with Jets. Low Rollers here. He says, I'm late again. I was late. I just didn't feel like getting up in time for Low Roller Scratcher. David, good morning. Happy Friday. Peter's in the house. Happy Friday. Herman is here. What's going on, Herman? Spam Likely says just unsubscribed due to tardiness in dark screen, but he did give a thumbs up. Well, thank you. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Low Roller says, how many free listings left since you got 60K free listings in your store? So I have, I think I'm just under 51,000 active listings. And then I think to make it work before you're taking a loss, I have the premium store. It'll be around 62,500. That's kind of because it's 10 cents with the premium store. It's 10 cents per listing after 60,000. So it's about 62,500. And then once I get to that point, then I'll go to the Anchor store. So I'm not just going to stop. I'm going to go to the Anchor store. And one of these days, I hope that I hope that eBay gives me more free listings, but that's a pipe dream. So at 100,000, I'll have to reconsider moving forward. So, but that's the plan. And it's a big jump. It's $60 a month to $300 a month. But that's why I just want to make sure I have some good inventory so I can make that increase in monthly fees worth it. James says, man, prospects are moving well. Big Lots money. Yeah. I've noticed over the last couple of weeks, prospects are really moving well. Prospects are really moving as we are now less than a month away from pitchers and catchers reporting. Oh, the most beautiful words in the English language, pitchers and catchers reporting. February 14th for my Cubs. Happy Valentine's Day. How about that? Pitchers and catchers reporting to spring training. I think Topps probably planned that. Pitchers and catchers reporting to spring training. Top Series 1 releases. Oh, what a joy. And my wife isn't into Valentine's Day. Like, I'll get her flowers and that's it. Like, we won't go out because, by the way, if you're young, most of you aren't, but if you're young and in a relationship, don't go out on Valentine's Day. Everything is super expensive. It's like New Year's. Valentine's Day, just like New Year's, is amateur. It's for amateurs. Don't go out on Valentine's Day. Prime rib Valentine's Day, prime rib dinner, $125 per plate. It's like, don't go out on Valentine's Day. I've got the best of both worlds. My wife doesn't want to go out on Valentine's Day, and she doesn't let me cook. Like, you want to order pizza? You want to put in a frozen pizza? I'll get her flowers. Happy Valentine's Day. And she'll make salmon. Philly Joe's in the house. Good morning. Happy FFAF. Free for All Friday. I had to think of something like, what does that stand for? Free for All Friday. We'll play Name That Player. Spam Likely says, never trust a man that stretches out a 2-letter first name to 4 letters. Dan's in the house. Good morning, all. My 8170 comes today. Any specific tips or resources you recommend to make setup and the settings the best possible? No, I don't. When I set mine up, I don't think I had to do anything. I think the only thing you've been using the 7030 or the 7160. You've been using a scanner previous, right? So I don't think there's anything. The settings are going to be essentially the same. So in my paper, I use PaperStream ClickScan, and I've just got image mode color, resolution at 300 DPI, letter size, both sides, automatic continuous scan, and the file format JPEG, and then I have it where it's going. So if you've already been using a feed scanner, the settings should be pretty much the same. So I don't think I had to do anything with my 8170. I might have had to call support for something. If you do, by the way, if you do have any issues, just go straight to Ricoh customer support. They're freaking amazing. They get to you fast, and they know exactly how to Ricoh customer service might be the best customer service of any company. And I'm not saying that. They're not paying me. Ricoh has the best customer service of any company I've ever worked with, dealt with, had to call. So if you have any issues with your scanners, just go to customer support with Ricoh. They're amazing. Johnny M says, good morning. Listed 8 Pokemon cards yesterday and sold 7 for a total of $97. Came in a collection I paid $1,000 for and almost threw these out. Wow. How about that? How about that? Low Roller says I had a pallet. I already sold it all at the last show. So it did. Yeah. Now I do remember the last pallet came before Christmas because I did have it for the December show. So no, I haven't had a new pallet yet. Good morning, Donald. What's up? TGIF. Kyle, good morning. Shane's in the house. What's happening? Joe says day 2 of the Biscuit P Chronicles. Yes. I did sell the Victor Wembanyama. And here's the funny thing about it, because I was talking to Brian about this last night. So Brian sells on eBay, and obviously I sell on eBay. So Brian, my friend, came over last night, and we're just talking about stuff, and I was talking about the Victor Wembanyama, and I'm like, the thing is, I think he was asking should I drop the price on something, and I said, well, here's the thing, I pulled a Victor Wembanyama last weekend. I don't even think I said when I pulled it. I pulled a Victor Wembanyama, it's hot. I listed it for $25. Didn't get, I think I had one lowball offer, and that's it. So I'm like, I think I'm overpriced. And he's like, well, how long has it been listed? I'm like, since Monday. And it's Thursday night. And he's like, oh yeah, see, we're in two totally, because he has a long tail of 6 months to 2 years. It's for me, it's I want to sell this stuff especially for Victor Wembanyama. That's a short term asset. I want to move that within a couple days. Ivan Rodriguez, if this sits for 2 years, I'm okay with that. It's a 1993 Upper Deck. It's 99 cents in my eBay store. Go check my eBay store out. Let's get that on there. Loaded a lot of 99-cent cards because Low Roller Scratcher was giving me shit for not loading new 99-cent cards. Now they're in there. So yeah, it sold yesterday for full price, $25. So I was very happy with that because it was the insert from Prism NBA. So it was right around comps, but those comps drop. It was a new release, and those comps drop. So that's why I have a lot of cards in my eBay store. I don't mess with pricing. So sometimes I'll get offers. It may be in my eBay store for $20, and I'll get an offer for $4. And you think, geez, that's a low ball. That's less than 25% of your ask. When in reality, that was what the comp was at release day. It's not release day anymore. That was a year ago. And maybe it's a prospect that he fell off. It's I'm happy to get $4. If I have it listed for $20, somebody offers me $4, I'm happy to sell it for $4. So that's another. So sometimes now, if it's the Victor Wembanyama for $20 and somebody offers me $4, that's a lowball offer because it's still at comps. Whereas the other card that I sold for $4 that I had listed for $20, that $20 was comps a year ago. Comps are now closer to $4. Bingo, says Peter. Mr. Archer's in the house. Happy Friday to you. Mark, what's up? Good morning. Hopping on for a bit before opening my store. Looking forward to my local show this weekend. He's working on his 1964 set. Good luck this weekend. Merle is here. Good morning. First time catching a live for a couple weeks. Went and visited the Twins fantasy camp in Fort Myers last week. Nice. Very cool. What was your batting average? Corey Garcia, good morning. Christian's in the house. What's happening? Jamie is here. Happy Friday. Spam Likely says hello. Mikey's in the house. Good morning. I just listed a ton of cards in my store last night. Very nice. Mark says, wait until you hit 50. You won't be able to get up if you crisscross. There's days where it's like, oh, can't sort on the floor tonight. Todd says, my knees and back can't handle sitting on the floor crisscross. Fortunately, I can still do it, but there are days where it's like, oh, I'm either a little slow or it's just like, I'm not getting down on the floor tonight. Cooter, what's up? Good morning. Christian says, did the Detroit pizza come with Honolulu blue Kool-Aid? No, it didn't come with anything, but I had some spotted cow. That's what I devoured my Jets pizza with last night. But go Lions. John's in the house. LRS asking mathy questions. Mikey says, why do pitchers and catchers report first? That's a really good question. I don't know the answer to that. Let's Google it. Why do pitchers and catchers report first? I bet somebody knows in the chat. Why do pitchers and catchers report early? Oh, MLB.com. So we're going straight to the source. The question hums in the background all winter, growing louder and louder as the cold begins to thaw. How many days until pitchers and catchers report? Yes, it's a bit of a tease. And yes, we still have another week until we watch actual game. Okay, so this is from like 2020. So this is outdated. But to rite of spring, blah, 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 blah. When the tradition of spring training actually began is a matter of some debate. Some say it started in 1886 when Cap Anson brought my Chicago then White Stockings, now Cubs, to Hot Springs, Arkansas, to give the squad a chance to get outside and train for the upcoming season in warmer weather, and to boil out the alcoholic microbes in the hard-living players. Now, others point to 1888 when the Nationals headed to Jacksonville, Florida for preseason camp. I'm going to give it to the White Stockings. All right. Let's get to the question, though. Let's see. The earliest mention of the practice comes from a story in March 3rd, 1905 issue of the New York Times, in which the New York Highlanders, which became the Yankees, had 6 pitchers and 1 catcher report to Montgomery, Alabama before the rest of the team. In 1913, Christy Mathewson was among those who made the trip to Giants camp early, along with Jim Thorpe, who was seemingly there just to hang out. By 1924, pitchers and catchers had gone mainstream enough to appear in the Sporting News. And apparently Sporting News had tweeted this out in 2016, the first time the phrase pitchers and catchers report appeared in Sporting News, March 20th, 1924. Let's see. So we know when pitchers and catchers started reporting early, and we know that it's nearly as old as the institution of spring training itself. What we still don't know is why exactly. There are theories. So apparently there's not an answer. There are theories, though, that have been floated about. Maybe it's because pitchers need time to stretch their arms out, and so teams wanted to make sure they began throwing from a mound as early as possible. Maybe it's because the relationship between pitcher and catcher is baseball's purest expression of teamwork, and a little extra time together couldn't hurt. Maybe it's just a numbers game. MLB teams bring so many pitchers to camp each year that it takes a little while to give them all their share of reps and eventually whittle down the roster. No one is quite sure, not even MLB's official historian, John Thorne. So that's an excellent question, and there's not an answer. It's just theories. Victor, what's happening? Good morning. He says more snow by Midway. Bummer. I think we got a couple inches last night. I think down, my mom texted me, said they were supposed to get like 4 inches down by her. John says, some might say prospecting is the Valentine's Day of the hobby. Mark says, my girlfriend gets me a 1970s cello pack for Valentine's Day every year. She knows. I like it. John is at a hobby shop right now, but it's not our hobby, and the money being thrown around is nothing like you see in the dollar boxes. Probably not. Hello, Orlando. What's going on? Merle says, just got an 8170 as well. I could also use some tips. Can you set up where it adds the border? Yes. Here. So let's see. Let me turn it on. Let me share my screen here. I think I need to do a window, paper stream, click scan. All right. So you can see it. All right. So go to advanced settings. So you've got, I don't know if you use something other than PaperStream ClickScan, I don't know. But if you use PaperStream ClickScan, here's how you can do it. Go to advanced settings. Let's see. Now it's under, always takes me a second. Is it page? By the way, here's another thing. Hole punch removal, make sure that's off because that will give you a lot of sometimes where there's like weird like blotchiness on your scans. That's from the hole punch removal. So make sure that's off. Oh, I bet it. Yeah. Yes. So it's under page. So click page and cropping. All right. So then over on the right side, output size, margin. And then put your margin. I have mine. So if you like the way mine is set up in my eBay store, mine is set to 2 millimeters. There's also, you can have background, and I don't know where the background is. You can do white or black. I have mine to black because more times than not, the border of cards that I list are white or not black. Like there's not many, you have 71 tops. You have some upper deck, like 2000s upper deck that are black border. You have some Bowman that are black border, but for the most part, black is going to be your best color border as opposed to white. I think eBay prefers the algorithm prefers white. So let's see. Is it under image maybe? I don't know. But that's at least that's where you put the border under the margin. Okay. So there you go. Hope that helps. Merle says, Dan, we should work together to learn our 8170s. John says it takes longer for them to get into shape, obviously. Let's see. Or at least it used to be why. Mr. Archer says, I was sorting 1978 tops yesterday as I'm building the set, and I too sat on the floor like a child. See? I'm not the only one. Thank you. Orlando says, attended the premiere of the new Negro League movie, Don't Drop the Ball. Interesting. How was it? Spam Likely says, Sporting News tweeted that out in 1924. No, they tweeted it out in 2016. It was an image from 1924. Orlando says, saw the premiere at the historic 110-year-old Black Lyric Theater in Overtown, Miami. Nice. Thought there was a character limit back then. There's my buddy Brian. What's going on? Brandon's in the house. What's happening? Had drifts to the hood of the car out here in Kansas. The wind apparently blew plenty last night. Yuck. We don't like that. We don't like that. Let's see. Low Roller says, still waiting to hit the lottery so I can buy a wife. Money solved your problems. Take it from Low Roller Scratcher. Brian, good morning. Trash day in Quincy, Illinois. Hey, hey. 2024 tops have black borders. Well, they haven't come out yet, but they will, yes. I love the new design. I love the 2024 tops design. What DPI do you use? I don't know. What's DPI? I don't know. Is sitting crisscross the same as Indian style? Yes. And, I had never heard it called crisscross applesauce until like a year ago, maybe 2 years. Like I've never heard, like Indian style is what I grew up with. And I don't think that's PC anymore. Can't say that. You probably couldn't say it, but I grew up in Anawan, so nobody cared. But yeah, crisscross applesauce, but it's fun. Crisscross applesauce. That's a fun. When did that become like in our language? Crisscross applesauce. When I first heard it, I'm like, oh, that's catchy. But yes, same as Indian style. John says, I'm in search of a very large table as I can't crisscross so much anymore. I used to crisscross while doing my taxes and wrapping presents. Can't do it anymore. You can't say that anymore. Yeah, it's not PC anymore. What's the difference between Ricoh 8170 and Fujitsu 8170? No difference. They're the same. Basically, Ricoh is if one has Ricoh, it's just newer because Ricoh bought Fujitsu. So they are the same machines. On Amazon, there is a $200 difference in price. Legit question. I'm assuming the Ricoh 8170 is probably $200 more because it's just newer. Because it's got the Ricoh name. Fujitsu 8170 is likely $200 cheaper because it's a closeout, because it's not Fujitsu anymore. It's Ricoh. Mine is the Fujitsu 8170. It's still, if it has the 8170, they're the same. Buy the cheaper model. Because I bet the cheaper model says Fujitsu and not Ricoh. You should know DPI, dots per inch. So is that the same as, 300 DPI is what I have mine set to. 300. I think the higher DPI, the slower. Is that what it is? I think deep 300 is kind of like the recommended. I don't know. Dots per inch only matters in actual prints, correct? I don't know. I didn't even know what it stood for until John typed it in. Where we at? Max says, can say whatever the hell you want. Screw them. Same with all the mascot changing BS, says Max. James says, Stadium Club looks good. Ordered a few boxes. Love that shit. Pictures are quality. I want to go back to this. I want to go back to Max because there's been, I saw on Facebook, I need to stay off Facebook because I get like irritated sometimes with what I read. I'm not a if you've watched this, I'm not a religious guy. And there was, and I say, Jesus Christ, I say that, and you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to. It's taking the Lord's name in vain. You're not supposed to say that. So I saw on Facebook, and I don't know what state it was in, but somewhere, a kid got written up. He dropped his Legos and he said, Jesus Christ. And people are like outraged. And they're like saying, Jesus, you should say the name Jesus Christ. You shouldn't get written up for that. Wait a second. Isn't that taking the Lord's name in vain? Aren't you not supposed to say that? What the hell is wrong with people? Why is this even a thing? If I said Jesus Christ dropping my Legos in 3rd grade, I probably would have got written up. And guess what my parents would have done? Don't say that in school. You can say it here. Don't say it at school. And then you go about your day. One time, I got a detention for this. I think I was in junior high. Because in junior high, oh my God. Does anybody have kids in junior high? Are they like the shittiest kids ever? Junior high kids are like the worst. Oh my God. Boys, at least boys. I don't know how junior high girls act, but boys, oh my God, they smell. They're shitheads. And I was the shittiest of the shitheads in junior high. We had pizza day was the best. Open faced turkey was awesome. But we also had clam chowder. Ugh. Clam chowder day at school lunch. You know what you're not supposed to say in school? You're not supposed to tell the lunch lady the clam chowder tastes like shit. And I did. because I wanted to get some laughs. You're in junior high, you're a shithead, and like, I dare you to say this. And I did, and I got a detention for it. My detention, though, I had to wash dishes in the high school home ec room, which was cool. I didn't have to wake up. It was an after school detention. So it's like, what? I was just going to go home and watch Looney Tunes or something. Like, I don't care. So I was mischievous. Like, I wasn't like vandalizing. I wasn't getting in trouble. I wasn't smoking. I had some friends that smoked in junior high. I didn't smoke. I've never smoked a cigarette, like a legal cigarette. I've smoked some of them funny cigarettes, but I've never smoked a cigarette. I wasn't doing that stuff. I was saying curse words that you're not supposed to say. Like your clam chowder tastes like shit. They don't like that. It wasn't the actual cook. I had a little more respect than that. It wasn't the actual lunch lady that cooked the clam chowder. It was like I think it was Mrs. It wouldn't have been Mrs. Copley because she was a PE teacher. You don't fuck with PE teachers. You learned that early on in school. You don't fuck with the PE teacher. I don't think it was Mrs. Copley because she was the PE teacher. You don't fuck with her. I think it was some random, like, she wasn't like a long-term. She was like there for a year or two. And so you can get away. Like, she was a teacher. You can get away with stuff. You couldn't, but I crossed the line, and I like to toe that line. Like, what can I get away with? Can I get away with saying the clam chowder tastes like shit? It'll be funny. Either way, I like to put myself on the line for humor. I don't even think my parents found out about that because it wasn't like a real detention. It was like, oh, you've got to stay after school and wash dishes. Cool. It was, and my friend, I don't know if my friend said something. My friend Luke was also in on it. So it was him and I in the high school home ec room. And we were like, it must have been brownie day in the home ec room because we were like eating. It was like we had detention, but we got like brownie crumbs, like, ooh. So we're like picking off the crusted brownies from the pan. And it was from that day. They don't leave. They're not like me as a bachelor. When I was a bachelor, leaving dishes in the sink for a week. It's probably from that day. It's brownies from the same day. I didn't get sick. It's all good. Where are we at? John says, I love Spam Likely's bangs. Might ask for that at the salon on my next appointment. Max says, John, make sure they use Elmer's glue and not Gorilla Glue. DPI matters on the resolution of the scan. I can give you my girl's name. Higher DPI, slower the scan, but higher quality scan. There you go. Thanks for the 8170 tips. I moved up from an Epson. Nice. Shane is correct. Higher DPI means larger file. Same size, just more info packed into the picture. Brian says, anything more than 300 and you start to see the actual printing dots on old cards. That's interesting. So that's probably why 300 is recommended. That's cool. I don't think I've ever done like 600. What's the next step up? 600 on this scanner? 400 and then 600. I think Ricoh, like, they suggest, okay, you're doing cards, 300 DPI. Joe Hellback, what's up? What's the best way to get a hold of you? Question about the Madison Card Show and player bulk. Shoot me an email. I'm going to type it in. Shoot me an email. Let's do this. Let's do my Madison Card Show email. Because there's less junk going in. My other emails are, let me make sure I gave you the right email address. I've got quite a few emails coming in. Madison Card Show at Gmail. So yeah, it's my email's in the chat. Send it to that email and I can answer the question. John says, I thought my name was Jesus Christ the first 12 years of my life. It's how my mom seemed to address me. Brian says, no one fucks with the Jesus. If you know, you know. Mark says, John, I thought my name was Dumbass. I have 2 boys, but would take them over junior high girls any day. Andy Mack. I'd be curious what he thinks. He teaches middle school. He knows what shitheads are like in junior high. Minneapolis kid tried to post something a couple days ago, but it got blocked because I mentioned the Reddit website. Wondering if you saw the Derniche Valdez auto posted there. Also, I saw another card. I don't know if I saw that particular post. So Derniche Valdez has new autographs, and I think Bowman's best. And it's a much different autograph than, of course, his autograph in last year's Bowman kind of went viral because he probably doesn't know how to read or write. You know, we kind of take that stuff for granted in the U.S., third world countries. It's not very common to be reading and writing. So, yeah, I did notice that his Bowman's best autograph looks a little different than his Bowman. Mr. Archer also teaches 8th grade, and I quite like those weirdos. But, yes, they're challenging. I think by 8th grade, if I'm remembering correctly, I feel like I was a big shithead in 8th grade, but I feel like you're coming out of that weird shell. Mr. Archer, you can I'd like you and Andy's thoughts on this. Because you're like with them all year after year, different classes. I feel like just from my own personal growing up, I feel like by 8th grade, I was I wasn't mature by any means, but I was far more mature in 8th grade than I was in 6th and 7th grade. And I don't know if your schools consider 6th grade because some still like middle school or grade school. So 6th, 7th, 8th grade were junior high at my school. And I feel like in 6th grade, I was still like a little grade schooler. And then 7th grade, you're in that, like, I think 7th grade, you're the middle child, literally in junior high, but you're not the little kid anymore, but you're also not the 8th grader getting ready to go into high school. So you don't know. And that's where all of these emotions are running wild. And that's like the worst age, at least my own experience. I feel like 7th grade was the weirdest, oddest, smelliest year. Minneapolis kid, have you seen the tops? I think from like 2006 that had, yes. So somebody actually reached out to me on Twitter. I think the same person probably, because it was basically the same stuff they typed into me. I don't recall those Abe Lincoln short prints. There's 4 cards, Ryan Dempster, Tyler Colvin, Jeff Samardzija, and one other Cubs player with Abe Lincoln in the background. And apparently they're super rare. So now I'm going to have to go through because with all the 2006 tops or 2010, whatever year it was, I've got a lot of those, and I'm just curious. I wonder if I have one of those. So now I'll be on the lookout, looking for Abe Lincoln in the background of those cards. John says, Bo is now what his school refers to as a cautionary tale. He's used as an example, probably. Not in a good, in Anawan, not in a good way. Mark Marinello, my daughter turned into an alien when she hit 7th grade. 7th grade, man, that's the weird year. Yeah. Clam chowder for school lunch is crazy, I feel. See? Yeah. It's a pretty shitty school lunch, right? That's what I thought. Andy says you get used to the smell. They're usually a fun age to be around. Okay. John says, I don't know how you girl parents do it. Boys finally mellow out at that age after being insane from 1 to 10. Girls awaken like a dormant volcano after 10. That's interesting insight. So what would you rather? Would you just want to have boys and just get it over with, or have girls and just be waiting and waiting? Oh, that tension mounts. Oh my God, she's going to turn into a monster any minute now. Shane says, my PE teacher was extremely overweight. It was ironic. I don't think I had. I'm trying to think. Our PE, oh my God, our PE teacher, and I've talked about it, Mr. Bosman. I'm still afraid. I'm 41, and I don't even know if he's still alive. He probably is. He's like fucking superhuman. He is. I wish I could find it. He's like, he has no online trail whatsoever. This man, I think he started teaching at Anawan in 1974. He was still my PE teacher in 2000, 1999, 2000, my senior year. And he looked the same. The same. That's alien, man. That is not. That is superhuman. Mr. Barnes, man. This is how he talked. He taught some world history. And he'd say, Colombia. What was the other ones he would say? And sometimes he'd say, bah. But I think we kind of enhanced, like, I don't think he really said, bah, 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 bah. Mr. Boss, man. He would run. So we had, like, our school sat on the southwest edge of our town. And there was a road, a country road called Mud Creek Road, because guess where it went? To Mud Creek. So it was a mile. So in small towns, if you're not familiar with rural America, especially in the flyover states like Illinois, the flatlander states, here in Wisconsin, it's much different. You like roads, like, oh my God, you can't just go out cruising country roads and know which direction you're going, because you might be going west and you could go all different directions, not even turning off that road. Not in Illinois. That's the benefit of flatlanders. Like, it's like literally square blocks. Everything is a square, and it's just, you can see for 10 miles. So Mud Creek Road went 1 mile to the Mud Creek Bridge, and it came to a T. If you took a right, you swung across Mud Creek, and that's where, like, everybody tagged the bridge. And it was like my favorite, because I would ride, my friend lived, Luke, who we caused trouble together. We would ride our bikes that way. So we didn't take, because he lived like a mile from my house, but we had to ride our bikes 1, 2, 3 miles because we couldn't ride on, it's like a national busy highway. So you couldn't ride your bikes as 10-year-olds, right? So we'd get to the Mud Creek Bridge, and that's where, like, the high school kids would tag the bridge, spray paint the bridge. And I think my favorite of all time was, bah, nuts in your turd. That was spray painted. Like, why? Like, see, that's probably like a 7th grader would come up with that. Bah, nuts in your turd. Like, what? What? Who? Not only who says that, but who spray paints it on a fucking bridge? Who did that? Some 7th grader did that. So Mr. Barsman, so he would run, like, on his free periods when he wasn't fucking lifting 7,000 pounds in the weight room. He would run out to the Mud Creek Bridge, and then he would run the next country mile. So he would run 4 miles, like, twice a day. And then when he wasn't, he would shower in the locker rooms. He was super fucking human, Mr. Barsman. And he just retired like 10 years ago. He taught for like 40 years. And that man still scares me to this day. Like, I feel like he can just, like, use, like, the Jedi power and be like, you're talking about me on the internet. One time, and you didn't want to piss him off in PE. I had a couple friends, like, he was a PE teacher I knew not to fuck with. I'm dropping a lot of F-bombs this morning. Must be that spotted cow. I didn't fuck with Bosman. I had a couple friends that they crossed that line. My friend Blake did once. And I think Bosman was not afraid to get physical. And you could do that because there weren't people weren't like, I'm going to film you. Like, you couldn't do that in the 90s. So he would, like, Jeff Shipper one day. Oh, man, in study hall. And Jeff was a big kid. Like, he was a giant compared to the rest of us. And he was mouthing off to Bosman in study hall. And Bosman, Jeff was like, and then he got, like, kind of physical with Mr. Bosman. And, oh, shit. He, like, took Jeff Shipper by the throat, put him up against the wall, sat him down in the chair, and then shoved the chair into his leg, in the back of his legs. So, so it did how that thing did that. And we're just watching, like, he is going to kill that kid. Mr. Barnes, man. And I think his mom, like, Jeff's mom came in and, like, filed something. just turned the other way. That's what happened. That's what happened in those days. You did not fuck with Mr. Marshman. Blake one day in PE, he said, he mouthed off. It wasn't as serious as what Jeff did. He mouthed off, and I think Bosman like threw a soccer ball at Blake, and he's like, "Bah, this ball, your head's got more air than a soccer ball." It's like, what? What did he just say? Yeah, he was my high school PE teacher. I don't know who we had in junior high. Mrs. Miller was our like grade school PE teacher. And she was like kind of, I don't know. She was like an older lady, but like super physically. I remember like report cards. She would like health was like, she like graded you based on your health. It was weird. Like, wasn't as healthy this quarter. It's like, wait, what? Because I got a cold and I missed a day of school? Like I'm not as healthy? Tell my parents to stop smoking. I might be healthier. Andy Mack, you wouldn't get detention for saying shit anymore either. Really? Is that what this world has come to? Kids can just say whatever the fuck they want? Cool. Really? John says clam chowder in the Midwest for school is probably unsafe. Yeah, right? Like rural America clam chowder? Like we're not in Maine or in New England. That is weird. John says, I think Topps should explain the origins of the players' first names. I'm more fascinated by Derniche's name than I am about where he was drafted or what his war is. I am too. Derniche definition. Can you just Google it, right? Wow, Sports Illustrated did something on Derniche Valdez. Chicago Cubs may have new rookie ball sensation. Derniche Valdez is a name to file away as he starts his first pro season in the Dominican Summer League. I just want to know what English translation. Derviche. Okay. Everything's coming up Derniche Valdez. Good morning, Mark. John says, my mother worked at our middle school as a guidance secretary. I was often sent to her office instead of the principal's and have to explain to her why I was sent. That's probably worse, right? Was that worse than actually getting sent to the principal's office? Mr. Archer says, boys are immature at that age, but not really problematic. Girls are more mature, but there's more drama. Yeah. Kids age 14 to 16 are fun to teach, very open-minded and curious. That's interesting insight. John says, Iowa seems to be the most square-roaded place in the country. Probably. Yeah, I think Iowa more. I mean, where I grew up, it was super flat, but we had some like state parks that kind of messed up the squares. But I bet Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, I bet there are more squares, in especially like Illinois. Like Illinois is, especially once you get up north. Like when you get north of I-80, there's a lot of hills, and especially once you get close to the Wisconsin border, there's a lot of hilly terrain and all that. But I bet, yeah, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, I bet those are the most square states in the nation. Non-sports showcase. What's up? Why are so many people up in arms over the Tom Brady Expos card being photoshopped? We touched on this yesterday. I don't know. There's been airbrushing for 50 years, more than 50 years. Pretty sure 90% of images. Yeah, I mean, you look at how many cards are photoshopped, like photoshopped jerseys, and yeah, I don't know why. I think it's just because it's Tom Brady. I think that's people just want to there's nothing else to bitch about, so we're gonna bitch about Tom Brady Photoshop. Max says, who vandalizes for fun? LOL, I have never understood that. Some shitheads that I think every school, every town had them. There's just assholes. Look at a county map of Iowa. Brian says, my boy's 11, my girl's 13, and they are both everything you say they are. Shane says to John, agree, and it's so boring to drive here. Yeah. Brian says, oh, and they don't like cards. Bummer. Non-sports showcase. Oh, we just talked on that. Everything is flat and straight. So you can go fast at least. Unicorn Cupcake says my 6th grade teacher hated me for good reason. Now my daughter has her for a teacher. Crazy. Yes. And we had, so like in my school, like teachers lasted forever. Teachers would have parents and then kids and then brothers. And then like you get, fortunately my brother and sister were like 20 years older, like 18 and 19 years older than me. So while we had the same teachers, enough time had elapsed where it's, we didn't grow up in the same house. We were so far apart. Like we didn't, nobody called me by my brother's name. But I had a lot of classmates that had older brothers and they would get called their brother's names quite often. Max says, you've heard of daddy issues. Bo has a Mr. Barsman. Kids lawyer up now in school. Yeah, now there's cell phones, cameras, hockey cardboard. Why are so many people? Oh, we just answered that. So we know hockey cardboard and non-sport showcase are the same people. Andy Mack, your recall of your childhood is incredible. I have blocked 99% of my childhood out for some unknown reason. I remember the weirdest. I can't remember to take the fucking garbage out, but I can remember Jeff Shipper getting physically assaulted by our PE teacher in 9th grade or whatever class. I don't even know. We might not have even been in high school yet. We might have been in junior high because in junior high, we had high school study hall, which was just, it was kind of like, which is kind of a cool concept because our school was like, when I went to preschool, it was like at a farmhouse. And then like later on, preschool went to the school. So you literally went from preschool to senior year in high school in the same building. It was like a 2-block long building. It was very long for the town I grew up in. Very small for some of you that went to giant high schools. But so I think it was kind of like a preparation for high school. Like you get to like just be with high schoolers just to kind of get a lay of the land almost. Brandon says, Midwest, if we saw clam chowder for lunch, no one would have eaten it. Anything beef or pork, great. Fish or not beef and pork, and lots of trash after lunch period. Max says, everything changed when the teachers became afraid of the parents, and then the board gave in as well. Yeah. Man, I do not envy you teachers and coaches because I mean, I've seen just through friends that have kids, relatives that have kids, and like just the bitching they do on Facebook. Oh, the coach, and then they create a firestorm, and the school board gets involved, or the school board's already involved because one of them have kids that's not getting. Oh my God, all the politics. Ugh. I'm glad I don't have kids for many reasons. Shane says, I remember the teacher burned me pretty good in health class. They were handing out feminine product bags since it was when the girls were getting their period. I asked if we got condoms. She said, no, they don't make them that small. Oh my God. That's hilarious. Oh my God. You've got to be kidding me. That is hilarious. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. Let's see. Yeah, that's a burn. When you started that sentence out with your teacher burned me pretty good in health class, like I thought it was like peroxide or something. Threw peroxide in your eyes. That's even worse than peroxide in your eyes. Every Bowman card is photoshopped and have been for, yeah, right? Absolutely. John says, and I agree with this, hobbyists are crisis actors. Yes. And there's going to be something to bitch about today. What is social media, hobby social media going to be up in arms about today? Andy Mack says, I currently teach my own daughter. She's in 7th grade. She's pretty cool, but definitely changed around a lot around age 11. Max says that teacher would lose their job for saying that. Yeah, today you can't get away with that. John says, Bo's reaction just made my week. Well done. Well done, Shane. That's a good one. Hey, how about we play Name That Player? I've got some Panini Americana. I'm going to do this one. Oh, that's a good one. Who else? See, again, I'm not prepared. Man, some of these are going to be difficult. I've got to, because some of these the names go over like the faces. Oh, we're going to have to do him. All right, so here's some better ones. So let's get the leaderboard up. Where are we at? So here's the leaderboard for Name That Player. Who's in the lead? Card Hobbyist. These I've never even heard of these guys. Okay, we know him. Ooh, that's going to be a good one. So I will be with this. So we've had some. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. So we've had some not disputes, but I just want to be clear because some of the, especially with actors, like I think we should give credit for like who they're like. Let's just do so. Somebody that we're not going to do. So this person will not be. I just want to find. Okay, here's a perfect example. So we're not going to do Tiffany Amber Thiessen. So Tiffany Thiessen. So I would take Tiffany Thiessen, Tiffany Amber Thiessen, Kelly Kapowski. I would accept Kelly Kapowski. Let's not accept unless it's like let's see. I want to see. I don't think we're going to accept any first names. We're not going to accept first names. So it's got to be last names, or if they're a character, and it's got to be like a mainstream. It's got to be like Kelly Kapowski. It can't be like, it can't be like, let's see on the back. Julie Gonzalo. Okay, Julie Gonzalo. She played Amber in Dodgeball. You can't say like Amber. All right, because like who? Okay, so we've got some of those. Let's do some baseball. Let's do that one. Oh, that's another. Let's do some. Got to do some that are a little tougher. Most of these are stars. That's a good one. All right, now let's find. I thought I had some football. I do. See, I should. Bo, damn it! Why are you not prepared? All right. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I want to do some difficult ones. We need some easy ones, but we need to toughen it up, right? That's a good one. All right. Is there anybody in here? Okay. I think this is good. We've got how many? We want at least 10, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's a good number. Okay. So we'll do football, baseball, celebrity, football, baseball, celebrity, football, baseball, celebrity. Oh, we got a lot of celebrities. So let's do celebrity here. All right. So we got a lot of celebrities. More sports, more celebrities in sports. Let's go to the chat real quick before we start. Robert says, do you ever rotate your cards on eBay? I don't know what that means. Max says, man, I wish, rotate like my inventory? No, I just add new. Just add new, if that's what you mean. Max says, man, I wish you would have did that one. She was on White Collar. Hot. I don't know what White Collar is. See, you wouldn't have gotten credit for whatever her character name was on White Collar, because it's not like a mainstream show. Like everybody knows Kelly Kapowski. Mr. Archer says, Andy Mack, I teach my daughter this year too. It's gone better than I expect. Well, that's good. That's good. Rotate your photos. I do not rotate photos. I rotate my photos within the Fujitsu. Sometimes I miss them and they end up sideways and I just leave them. So, all right. So without further ado, let's play Name that player. All right. First up, we got a celebrity. We've got a celebrity. Who's this guy? TV personality. I know somebody's going to get this one. Yes, Max is the fastest. Chip Gaines. And I'll give you Gaines. We take last names. That is correct. Chip. Max with the point. All right. So Max getting closer, closing in on Card Hobbyist. 5 points for Max. Let's see. John says, I view having your parent as your teacher the same some view steroids in the 90s. It's cheating. I would not want a parent as a teacher. I feel like parents are harder on their kids than the other kids. Same with coaching. I think it's actually, people are like, oh, the coach's kid. I think it's actually worse for the kid. All right, football. Who's this guy? Try to get it up close. There we go. Max coming in hot. Wow. Jerry Rice. I thought that might throw people off because of the Mississippi Valley State Delta Devils uniform. Did not sway Max. He knew that was Jerry Rice. Max is now just 1 point off the lead. All right, next up, we got a modern Ginter, but it's baseball. Who is this guy? From the D-backs. From the Diamondbacks. Gallon is correct. Joe Trotto. Joe Trotto. Zach Gallen. All right. Joe, is that your first point? Let's see. No, Joe has 2 now. All right. Joe Trotto. And you move up. All right. And voila. All right, next up. All right, we go celebrities. Who is this guy? Anyone? Anyone? I'm not going to take first names. Shane's got to go. Chong is correct. His name is Tommy, but we're not going to give Tommy. We're not going to give credit for Tommy. Tommy Chong. Chong. Because with that, it's Cheech and Chong. It's like, well, if you thought his name was Tommy Cheech. Merle with the point. Let's see. What's Max say? Do you not see mine? You said Tommy, and that's it. So that's all I saw from Max. Merle. Merle has. I thought Merle had some points previously. No, that's your first point this round. Max, I do not see Chong. So here's red light says hit the like button. Max says I knew Zach, but had to type something. Max said Tommy. Jamie said Cheech. Shane has to go. John said B. Arthur. Merle said Chong. So that was in the order. Let's see. And next up, we're back to football. Oh, this is going to throw people off. This is going to throw people off. Football. I'll give you a hint. It is a college uniform. It is not Greasy. It is not Harbaugh. It is not Flacco. It is Rich Gannon. Yes. With the Delaware Fighting Blue Hens. And I knew that would throw people off because you thought it was Michigan. I would have thought that was a Michigan Wolverines uniform. It's a Delaware uniform. Merle with another point. Merle with 2. All righty. And you move up. All right. Did somebody else say their comment wasn't coming up? Yeah, Flacco also went to Delaware, didn't he? Porter said, weird, my comment isn't showing up. That is weird. I don't have my... Everything has been since we had that issue like a month ago. YouTube and StreamYard have been in sync. So I'm not looking at YouTube today because it's kind of annoying. But let's see. Free for all. Let's just see, since we've now had a couple people mention chats aren't coming up. I want to go back through. Scott, did I see Scotty Dubs' comment on here? Oh yeah, I see Scotty Dubs. Let's see. I'm going to go back up. Okay. I did not see Max's Chong comment. And who else said they didn't have a comment? Porter? Yeah, Porter. Porter. Weird, my comment. So yeah, your comments are not showing up anywhere. Except for that one that's on the screen right now. All right. So I'm going to leave that up just in case, but everything on my YouTube is matching up. I'm going to hit the like button, by the way. Hit the like button. Everything on my YouTube channel is the same order, and everything is showing on StreamYard. Okay, moving on. Back to baseball. Oh, I almost covered up the set and not the name. For this guy, yeah, I guess if anybody's having trouble, just hit refresh. If you don't know who this is, hit refresh now. If you do know who this is, type in and then hit refresh. Max got it. Mancini. Trey Mancini. Max is correct. Mancini. Max has tied the lead. Where's Card Hobbyist at? He is losing ground. 7 points for Max, and now a tie atop the leaderboard. All right, next up. We go to another athlete in the Panini Americana set. Do you know what sport this guy's in? That one's for John. Jericho, Joe Trotto. Yes, the sport of professional wrestling. It is a sport. It's real to me, damn it. Joe Trotto. All right, so Joe, wow, you're up to 3 points today. And you are moving up. So Joe is now in a tie with... Wow, 3 points. That puts you in a tie for second place. Did Tom Gibson? Tom must have went back to work. I don't think Tom is with us this morning. So look at where Joe climbs in the standings, tied for second. I think he was not even on the leaderboard this morning. Now he's in second place. All right. I expect at least one of you to get this. Bill, you were close. You were second behind Joe. John says it's not a. Max's autocorrect is. It is Bart Starr. I'm gonna give Max the credit for start because I know what he meant, and I'm sure it was a autocorrect. I hate autocorrect. We're gonna give Max the credit. He knew it was Starr. Joe was right behind him, and then Max finally, after autocorrect a couple times, we're gonna give the point to Max. And he now is in sole possession of first place. And Max won our last. Max has a trophy. He got the Red Light 34 trophy. All right. So Max with 8 points. Oh, all right. So Merle says, I collect Chris Jericho because his father was a professional athlete. He was a hockey player. Yeah. Ted Irvine, was that his dad? NHL player. Let's see. Back to baseball. I really gave myself some difficulty where the names I have to cover on these. Baseball. Tony Perez. Yes. Tony Perez. Joe. Joe moves into sole possession of third. Sole possession. Yeah, because I think, who do we got? Max is in first. Card Hobbyist is in second. Joe is now in a sole possession of third with 4 points. Joe with 4. And he's moving up. Oh, there we go. And boom. Bada bing, bada boom. All right. Now it's all celebrities from here on out. No athletes. Not even the sport of professional wrestling is coming up. All celebrities. All right. Get your game faces on. Here we go. Who is this actress? I will take one of her character names. Applegate is correct. I would have also accepted Kelly Bundy. Christina Applegate. Max with the point. I think she's having some health issues. I think she has MS. Max with 9. Christina Applegate. All right, next up. All right, I don't think Max is going to get this one. Who is this guy? I don't think there's any character names at all except for him. From the 1980s. All right, Joe. I think I'm going to give Joe credit. It's Corey Haim. If anybody disagrees with giving him a point, speak now or forever hold your peace. We'll give Corey Haim the credit. Joe Trotto with 5. All right. Next up. Okay, I will take, on this guy, I will take one character name. Getting some light. It's nice to see the sun, though. All right. I am not going to accept Brady. I do need first and last name. Greg Brady is correct. There's multiple. Oh, Barry Williams is his real name. Merle with Greg Brady. Because there's also Peter Brady. There's Mike Brady. There's a lot of Bradys. So Barry Williams, a.k.a. Greg Brady, Merle with the point. Merle with 3 points. And you move up. You move all the way up. Right. We got 2 more left. Celebrities. Merle says, I hear there was a whole bunch of Bradys. 2 more. This is kind of a tough one. This is kind of a tough one. There's an answer I will take. It's not a character she played. I don't need to. I would have accepted Hulk Hogan's daughter. But Brooke Hogan is correct. Max with the point. Jamie says it's his wife. Brooke, oh yeah, it says on the back. Married Jamie Croft. Brooke Hogan Croft. Brooke Hogan. Max with the point. Where are we at? Where are we at? 10 points for Max. All right, last one. Last one. Okay, I've got to see. All right, I'm not going to accept any character names for this particular actor. So actor name only. I will not accept first name. I will accept last name or first and last name. Martin Short is correct. Brian Bourne with his first point. Martin Short is correct. Martin Short. All right. So Brian on the board. So let's take a look at the standings. Max has taken the lead with 10 points. Card Hobbyist in second with 7. Joe Trotto moved all the way up to third place, 5 points. Korean Cardboard, Harlan, Huddle Card Collection, Merle, Rich, and Tom Gibson in a tie for fourth. And then with 2 points apiece, we've got Jordan Brown, Philly Joe, Flipping Sports Guy, That 70s Card Show, Flawed Thinker, all with 2. And with 1 point apiece, Mark Marinello, Porter, Christian, and Brian Bourne. Max says it feels good to be back at the top for Max. There's my eBay store, 99centcards.com. I'm going to be adding some more stuff. Thanks to Brian last night for getting me in the card room and going through some boxes. I found a plenty of new inventory to be listing. So got to hammer out some shipments today, and then we'll do some listing. I've got dog pee to catch now. Wish me luck. Wish me luck today as I go try to collect urine from a 10-pound dog in the -2 degree snow. Wish me luck in an applesauce container. So, Mikey just got done swimming. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Visit my eBay store. We will go live tomorrow. Saturdays will go on, 8:30? Yeah, 8:30 tomorrow morning, roughly. So, hope to see you tomorrow morning. If not, Sunday morning. If not, Monday morning. We'll be back on 7 a.m. Central on Monday. Weekends vary. Might be 8:30, might be 7:30, might be 9:30. Central time, yes. So, hey, have a great Friday. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch you tomorrow morning.